This lecture for Adler Graduate School course number 504 discusses the individual psychology concept of private logic and the concept of thinking styles and cognitive distortions from cognitive behavior therapy. Identifying the client's private logic is an essential part of the diagnostic assessment and is central to helping them feel that you understand them. I have found that many clients appreciate the concept of private logic and continue to use it through the course of therapy. Cognitive biases are the thinking errors that we humans make when processing information. You can download a codex from the course page that was created in 2016 by John Manoogian. As you can see, he identifies 4 broad categories, each with a number of specific biases. We are selective in what we perceive based on our personality functioning. We make many mistakes, especially in situations where there is a limited amount of data or a limited amount of time. In other words, we conjure up meaning when it is not supported by the data. We often feel like we need to make split-second decisions, often resulting in decisions that are unfair, self-serving, and counterproductive. Finally, we recall information based on our personality, which produces a whole set of distortions. In his 1973 article, Rudolf Dreikurs describes the evolution of Adler's thinking about private logic from a sign of abnormality and maladjustment to one manifestation of the biased apperception. This evolution was fueled, at least in part, by the increased focus on social interest as an indicator of mental health. The term private logic is reportedly used interchangeably with private sense, private intelligence, private world, personal intelligence, and isolated intelligence. Whenever Adler used any of these terms, he used them in contrast to common sense or reason. In contemporary individual psychology, every human being develops beliefs about self, others, and the world in order to cope efficiently with the world. These beliefs are collectively referred to as the style of living of the person, defining the belief substratum to behavior. And these beliefs are unified by the person striving to overcome felt inferiorities and their movement toward a fictional final goal of significance. It is assumed that the person is acting as if the behavior were an intelligent response to the situation, given the requirements of their private logic. Common sense is that understanding and evaluation of life that is held in common by the broader community and is more commonly suited to the needs of the situation, the world as it has come to be. The level of social interest inherent in the private logic is the extent to which it is congruent with the common sense. The terms private logic, mistaken belief, and mistaken line of movement generally refer to the analysis of a specific chain of behavior or interaction, while the terms apperceptive schema and style of life refer to ongoing and repetitive patterns of belief and behavior akin to personality. Albert Ellis elaborated the private logic construct by theorizing that psychopathology was the result of processing events through an irrational belief system. He proposed a sequence of events beginning with an external stimuli, the activating event, that triggers irrational beliefs and generates inappropriate behaviors. This is the model that Podesky and Mooney proposed to educate clients about the cognitive behavioral approach to therapy. They talk about how all of us live in an environment and are affected by both our current and our past environments. The other four components of the model, thoughts, biology, mood, and behavior, are described as connected and interacting with one another, so that changes in one area produce changes in the other areas. This echoes the holistic perspective of individual psychology. The Podesky and Mooney model has been elaborated in the generic cognitive model of Beck and High. Here we see a specific situation activating biased beliefs, a specific focus on or interpretation of events, and behavior. Thus, various triggering situations have the ability to draw the person's focus and activate a mistaken belief and behavior. When private logic is applied to a situation, it produces a distortion of the situation and behavior that is not in harmony with the needs of the situation. Ellis called it irrational thinking, and various cognitive behavioral therapists refer to cognitive distortion or thinking errors. Numerous lists have been produced by various authors, and there is some truth in the notion that each person's private logic is unique. I have found this list of 9 thinking errors to be useful in writing a diagnostic formulation. Overgeneralization is taking an isolated incident and using it to make a wide generalization. Filtering is a focus on certain, usually negative events while ignoring the rest. Polarizing is black and white thinking. Catastrophizing is expecting disaster to strike no matter what. Personalizing is a distortion where the person believes that everything others do or say is some kind of direct and personal reaction to them. Shoulding is having a list of ironclad rules and standards. Mind reading is assuming you know what people think without having sufficient evidence. Labeling is the use of global traits, usually negative, based on limited or stereotypic thinking. Blaming is a focus on the other person as the source of negative feelings and experiences. In his 1964 article, Bernard Shulman identified 9 common dangers or perceived threats that interfere with the client's ability to cooperate with the therapist in treatment and with others in living their life. I think of this as a list of various felt inferiorities that different people strive to avoid. While clients are sometimes fully aware of these perceived threats, Shulman notes that clients are often unaware of feeling threatened and of the behavioral and psychological strategies they use to protect themselves and avoid the perceived danger. I have found this list of perceived dangers to be especially helpful in forming a maintenance model.